This month at Nine Rings Woodcraft, we are working on a 72-inch bathroom vanity and a shelving unit and a drawer unit to go next to it. This is for the master bathroom in the addition that I'm building on my house. As of right now, we've got the carcasses built and the toe kicks. And from there, we're gonna go into the face frame and drawers and doors, but that's gonna be a project for another video. For now, stick around, check out how we built the carcasses.
In this case, the first part of the job is the worst part of the job, unloading the plywood. I picked up the Craig panel carrier recently to make this sort of job easier, and it absolutely did, but these suckers are heavy no matter what you do. Then it was time to cut the panels down to the cabinet parts. I used OptiCutter to optimize the number of pieces I could get from each panel. I'm honestly not sure if this is worth it to do. I definitely saved on material, but it takes a good amount longer to plan out and make the most efficient cuts, and I don't think I saved enough material to make that time investment worth it. To make the cuts, I used my track saw. I recently picked up the Wen, which is a great saw for a fraction of the cost of the bigger names. I cut all of these about an inch wider in every dimension, and then cut it down on the table saw because I had a lot more control. On some of these, I should have used a sled, but we didn't have one wide enough, and I felt like I had enough control with the short edge against the fence. While I was at the table saw, I also cut out the dado to slide the back panel into the carcass. Because I've got access to a Festool domino through my local makerspace, I decided to use that for the joinery instead of dados. This is fast, easy, and accurate, and to be frank, I'm a bit scared of dado stacks. They just seem like whirling plates of death metal every time I use them. Just make sure that you don't accidentally forget to set the depth on the domino and cut all the way through the plywood. Twice. We'll cover it with trim. It's a good idea to finish the insides of your cabinets before assembly, just because it can be hard to get into all those nooks and crannies later. For these cabinets, I'm just using water-based polyurethane. All of the parts are labeled so I don't get confused when I go to assemble it later. Just stir up the poly and brush it on. One thing to keep in mind is that you want to avoid putting polyurethane anywhere where there's going to be glue. So you'll see that there are these glue seams across a lot of the boards. For the best finish, make sure that you sand in between each and every coat and apply multiple coats for sure. And then rub the whole thing down with a piece of brown paper bag on the final coat to get a glassy, smooth finish. Once all the dominoes were cut, I assembled everything. These little corner clamps that I grabbed at the last Amazon Prime Day are worth their weight in gold. Which honestly isn't all that much gold, they're pretty light. But either way, they're helpful in keeping everything square, though I still used regular clamps to apply some pressure while the glue dried. It took me a while to admit that this was just a little bit too big, but I got there eventually. Don't be afraid to trim the back panels down a bit if they're tough to get in. It'll make your life a lot easier and won't cause the walls of your cabinet to push outward. I forgot to trim the inner dividers to hold the front stretcher, so I did that now with my Japanese pole saw. I also used my Jonathan Katz-Moses dovetail jig to hold a straight line with the saw as I cut. My camera didn't record installing these panels, so here's a clip of me dry fitting them. While I was assembling the vanity, I also mixed in assembling the tall cabinets that are going to go to the right. These are nothing special, just more dominoes, glue, and pocket holes. I did have to add some shelf pin holes to one section of this cabinet as well. I used the Craig shelf pin jig, which is really, really easy to use and made quick work of all of these holes. Bella also had to check on progress.
Can you stop? Hi. Bella's worried you're sad. And also she's covered in dust. Oh my God, Bella. Bella needs a bath.
Side note, Bella did not get a bath. She got wiped down with a wet paper towel. While the cabinets were drying, I built the toe kicks. These are pretty straightforward. 4 inches tall and 4 inches shallower than the finished depth of the cabinet, including the face frame and doors. For the long one, I added a middle support brace just to keep it from bowing forward. If you're going to see any corners of your toe kick, take the time to miter it. Then you don't have to fumble around with edge banding, which might not stain the same as the rest of your plywood. Place and level the toe kick. Get it right here so you don't have to fuss around with leveling the cabinet. I used shims for the initial leveling and then screwed plywood scraps to the inside of the kick as a more permanent holding solution. Then I screwed the whole toe kick to the studs, making sure to shim the gap so I didn't twist or warp it in any way and ruin my level. The next step is to cut the holes in the back of the vanity for the pipes. Slow and careful measuring here should get this right. I used hole saws and a Forstner bit for this. Then, with my wife's help, I got the vanity placed and used an oscillating saw for the couple of adjustments to the pipe holes where I missed just a little bit because I didn't go quite slow and careful enough.
Do we dare check how level it is?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing.
Then I popped the tall side cabinets into place and voila, it's starting to look like a bathroom.
All right, so here it is, the final product. We've got the carcass for our vanity built and the shelving unit above and the drawer unit that's gonna go below that are gonna form kind of the wall into the toilet area. The next steps are gonna be to contact the countertop people, get them in to measure the countertop. Once they've got it measured and we've talked about exactly where it's gonna land, I'll get it all affixed to the wall. I'll get these sanded and stained and finished up. And then we can build the face frames, the drawers for both units, and then the doors, and get all that hung, stained, polyurethane, all that. And then we'll be good to go to get the tile guys in here to get them started on finishing out the bathroom for the addition. So we've got a lot of work left to do, but we're getting pretty close to finishing up this part of the project. So the next video will be all about the face frame, the drawers, and the cabinets, and probably some of the finished product as well. But for now, this is where we're gonna leave it because I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the counters in.